it's Siobhan Muir. Welcome back to Cooking with Siobhan. Well, we're starting into the holiday season, and so of course now we start thinking about all those holiday recipes that we've always wanted to make. Because you've always wanted to make them, right? So today what we're doing is basically a pumpkin roll, which is a Yule log without it being Yule. Today what we're doing is the pumpkin roll, and this is a Penzies recipe that we got. We did modify it though for a couple reasons. One, we're making it gluten-free. And the other thing is we were reading the recipe and there's no spices in it. I mean, there's cinnamon.
Come on, Penzies, where are your spices?
And so we're adding other spices to it. So to start with though, you're going to need 3 eggs, 2/3 of a cup of canned pumpkin, a cup of sugar, a teaspoon of lemon juice, 3/4 cups of flour, a teaspoon of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of Penzies cinnamon, which we do have. It's actually we got a big one, and this was a nice container for it. And then a half a teaspoon of salt, and then chopped nuts. And we decided we were going to chop walnuts, so we've already done that. You need a cup of chopped nuts if you're using it. We have our chopped nuts. What you need to start with: preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 191 degrees Celsius. Line a rimmed 17 by 11 inch cookie sheet with wax paper and set aside. Parchment paper doesn't work unless you use spray to grease it first. So we just happen to have wax paper around, so we're using wax paper. In a large bowl, beat the eggs on high for 3 minutes.
Oh, and we are using a mixture of duck and chicken eggs.
So they're slightly different in size. Also, we have found, just as a side note, that duck eggs are really good for baking with gluten-free. It keeps it moister than chicken eggs. So the only thing is though, they're harder to crack.
They're impossible to crack.
Then beat it on high for 5 minutes. Ooh, that was a long time. 5 minutes is a long time. And you're sitting there waiting for it to... Okay, anyway, it should look really like light and fluffy, full of air. All right, so then it says, add the pumpkin, the sugar, the lemon juice, the flour, the baking powder, the cinnamon, and the salt. Right? So basically, add everything else, is what it says. So what you're going to need are 2/3 of a cup of canned pumpkin, 1 cup of sugar. We actually did 3/4 of a cup of sugar because we're going to add this filling, and this filling is going to be full of sugar as well. So you don't want your cake to be overly sweet. So I'm going to add in the sugar. And then it said, add in the flour and the baking powder, and it said cinnamon only. We're not going to do that. This is a pumpkin spice roll. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the pumpkin spices that you're used to. So in addition to the cinnamon, which they want 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, I'm going to add in 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom. Well, no, just 1/4 for now. Let me stir this together, and then we'll add some more flour to dry it out a little bit. This is the cloves. We're going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves as well. We are going to do fresh nutmeg. It's not in the recipe, but we're going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla.
With fresh nutmeg, it's really wonderful, but you do not need a lot of it. So I'm going to do about that much.
I think that's a good plan.
That should be just fine.
Plenty of nutmeg. A 1/2 teaspoon of salt. A teaspoon of baking powder.
Your 1/2 teaspoon rinse that. It still smells like vanilla, but that's okay.
1/2 teaspoon of vanilla flavored salt.
Thanks for that. I said it smells.
Vanilla flavored salt. 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. All right, let's mix this a little bit first. Ooh. Okay, that was not what I was expecting. It's a good thing my counter is clean. I just dumped it right out of the can. Go me. She's with it. She's really with it today. Don't let anybody tell you that everything always goes smoothly when we cook.
Everything always goes smoothly when we cook until we're on camera.
Right. Yeah, I don't make these mistakes when there's nobody watching. We just made a big mess, but that's all right. It's very exciting.
Smells a lot like pumpkin.
Well, that's good. 2/3 of a cup of pumpkin. I don't know why I had 3/4 in my head, but I did.
I don't know, because you were doing 3/4 with a third.
Well, you know, whatever. We rectified it. Now it should start looking orange.
Alright,
Okay.
so now it should be the last of our...
Yes, now put in the last.
one. Two. Apparently gravity was not enough.
Okay, now what this thing says is spread the batter on the cookie sheet. It will be very thin. So don't worry if it's kind of wet and gooey. We'll spread it out and it says, if it doesn't quite get to all the edges, don't worry. Sprinkle with nuts if using. And then I'm just gonna spread this out a little bit. Try to make it as rectangular as possible. That might actually help you in you know, once you've baked it. And then yes, then we sprinkle with nuts. Now, if you are allergic to nuts, don't do this.
Yeah, please.
All right, there we go. Bake at 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 191 degrees Celsius on the top rack for 15 minutes. Remove from oven and let stand for 10. And we'll let that bake. So what we'll do is we'll boil it out when it's done baking, and we'll show you what it looks like. All right. Well, then what it says is remove from oven and let stand for 10 minutes, probably underneath the fan. And then what you're going to do, then things get creative. Let's prepare the filling. Okay, beat together the cream cheese. Okay, so you're gonna need 1 package of cream cheese softened, 4 tablespoons of butter softened, a half teaspoon of vanilla extract, and it says 1 cup of powdered sugar. We're gonna see how this works. Because again, we kind of cut the sugar in a lot of ways. All of that goes into a bowl. All right. Beat together the cream cheese, the butter, and the vanilla. How much vanilla do you want? Half teaspoon. All right. Okay. That will give you kind of the basis of your stuff. Now, let's start with a half cup, just to start, by adding 1/4 of a cup at a time. And we'll slowly mix in, because that's what it also said. Gradually add the powdered sugar and mix well.
3/4 of a cup.
I think we can do 1 more 1/4 cup, and then, yeah, I think that'll be, and it says 1 cup of powdered sugar. So that'll be what we're using.
Mind you, it's not because it needs to be sweeter. It's sweeter.
It is a little sweeter than I like it, but I think the cake will really help it. Now, once you're done with that, you can put away your mixer and set it aside. So now what you're going to do, once you know you have your filling, you're going to do something really strange. This is where things get a little more interesting for this recipe. It says, generously sprinkle powdered sugar on a clean tea towel. A what? Generously sprinkle powdered sugar on a clean tea towel. Seems like a very strange thing to do. It's very strange.
You know, I always like my cloth sweetened.
Sure, it makes it go down easier.
Absolutely.
All right. I know this seems strange. There's a reason for it. Gently flip the cake onto the towel, like this, right?
Okay, yeah. Step 1 complete. We flipped the cake, and it made it.
Gently peel the paper. Just gently peel the paper off your cake. All right, and then it says, this is what's interesting. Roll the cake up in the towel from the long side and let cool completely. So go ahead and put that over there. Put this side down, okay? And we're gonna let it cool completely, which shouldn't take more than
5 minutes.
5 minutes. And then we'll be back to show you what you do next. Carefully unroll the cooled cake and spread with the filling. Roll again and keep in the refrigerator.
Oh my gosh. It's not cracked this time.
Throw this stuff on here. Let's start with that and then we'll add the rest of it.
I think that's a good idea.
Ooh, that's too hot.
I'm like, I am not sure.
Okay, here's the other thing about spreading this stuff out. Leave yourself a little bit so that you can, because it's gonna ooze. Now you do want to chill it a little bit.
Guys, this looks awful. Just the worst. I'm not sure I'm willing to share.
You'll take one for the team.
Oh yeah. I'll eat this whole thing. No, make sure it's not poisonous or something.
Now, I am keeping it up to the edge on this side because this is the inner roll. I'm gonna roll it from this end again. Now I'm gonna curl it up again. Okay, now we need to put it in a container. There is a gluten-free pumpkin cake roll. When fully chilled, cut into 12 to 16 pieces. I'm looking forward to it. That was far more successful than I thought it would turn out. You know, gluten-free doesn't always want to stick together. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? All right, let's put that in the fridge. Chill it for, how long do you want it? I'd say at least a half an hour. At least a half an hour so that we can, so that it solidifies a little bit, a little less willing to break apart. And then serve 12 to 16 pieces. We'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. All right, so it came out of the fridge and it's, well, it still looks,
About the same.
it does, it still looks about the same.
Yay for us.
And it didn't break apart and, you know, it has all the goodies, so I guess we'll cut it. Looks pretty good. So you're supposed to cut this in 12 to 16 slices. Wow, it looks really good.
Now we can try one.
Now you should try it, yeah. You're not gonna share? Is that what I'm hearing? Oh, that's terrible.
Just the worst.
It turned out really good. It's just the right mixture of sweet and tart with the cream cheese. Oh, it's so good. And it's gluten-free. And it curled. Anyway, that's a success. So thank you so much for joining us. Definitely ring the bell to find out when there's new videos put up. Subscribe to the channel. If you didn't see the subscribe button, it's there. Like and comment on the video. Definitely like and comment on other videos that are connected to this one. And sign up for my Patreon. This really helps me as an author, and it helps me as a baker. And I can make some more of these really cool things. Yeah, it's not only do you get these cooking videos, but you also get the other things that I'm working on that are exclusive to Patreon members. So, thank you so much for joining us. Happy making, happy baking, happy eating, and happy reading. Bye!